Good morning students. Welcome back to Open System class. Today here I am going to explain the next topic of your third unit, segmentation. Okay, so already I have explained contiguous memory allocation, and this topic will also come under that only. Actually, when the memory is allocated, memory allocation, there are two types of memory allocation. One is contiguous and the second one is non-contiguous. Means already I have explained contiguous memory allocation. So the contiguous memory allocation, what happened is, whenever the user want to execute any program, continuous blocks of memory is allocated to that process. Okay, and what advantages you have, what disadvantages you have in a contiguous memory allocation, that already I have explained in the last class. Okay, contiguous means continuation blocks of memory. One section of memory, one section of memory is given to a user for execution. Understood? Continuous block of memory is given to a user for execution. So continuous blocks of memory is given to a programmer for execution. Okay, and what disadvantage? Internal fragmentation, external fragmentation, what you have there already I've explained. Now come to the non-contiguous, means the memory is allocated to a user, but whatever memory blocks allocating to a user that are not contiguous, that will come under non-contiguous memory allocation. In a non-contiguous memory allocation, again here we have two types. One is segmentation, and the second one is the paging. Okay, so today here we'll complete the topic segmentation. The next class will complete the paging. Understood? Segmentation actually what it is first you draw this. In the exam you have to draw this. Memory allocation is divided into two types. One is a contiguous and the second one is a non-contiguous. Again, non-contiguous is divided into two types. One is a segmentation and the second one is a paging. You take screenshot of this. Now, we'll discuss about the segmentation. Our topic, what is the topic? Segmentation. Okay, segmentation. What is the first point here? Segmentation is a non-contiguous memory allocation method. Means it will come under non-contiguous memory allocation. Now the second point is, it is a memory management technique. Memory management technique. What is the second point? It is a memory management technique. Means how to allocate a memory, how to collect a memory from a process which already completed its execution. Memory management technique. So in this technique what happened is, whatever primary memory is there, it is a method of dividing. It is a method of dividing primary memory. It is a method of dividing primary memory into. It is a method of dividing primary memory into a different parts. Okay, what it is? It is a method of dividing primary memory into different parts. And each and every part is called as segment. Each and every part is called as a segment. Understood? What is the first point? Memory management technique. It is a non-contiguous memory allocation. It is a memory management technique. In this, whatever primary memory is there, that is divided into different parts. And each and every part is called as a segment. And each and every segment, each and every part is identified with segment number. Each and every point, each and every part is identified with segment number. Understood? So these are the key points. Just you take screenshot of this. Now next we'll go to the in-depth of your topic. Okay, you take these points. Running notes it is. Okay. So here example, one program is there. This is a complete program. So this complete program is divided into different segments. Okay, this complete program is divided into different segments, or you can say that whatever program is there, no, that is divided into different parts. So here parts are called as segments. This is segment 1. As I already said, each and every part is identified with the segment number. Segment 1, segment 2, segment 3, segment 4, segment 5. This is your program. And this program is loaded into your primary memory. This module, these segments are loaded into primary memory. Why these parts are loaded into the primary memory? Because if you want to execute any program, where that program should be? In the primary memory. Because CPU takes the instructions and the data from the primary memory. CPU directly contact with the primary memory. So whatever programs you are saving, whatever programs you want to execute, that program should be primary memory. So okay, now segment. How many segments we have? 5 segments. Okay, this is a segment 1, segment 2, segment 3, segment 4, segment 5. Okay, so this is your primary memory. From the primary memory, CPU will take the instructions, and each and every primary memory, each and every segment is identified with the segment number. And for each and every segment, there is a base address, starting address. Okay, example, this is 0, this is 100. For the segment 2, the base address is a 100. Example, for this is a 200, and for this is a 500. Example, this is a 600. Okay, so every segment, for every segment, there is a base address. Understood all of you? So whatever program is there, that program is divided into a parts, and each and every part is called as a segment. And each and every segment is identified with the segment number, and that segments are loaded into the primary memory for the execution. Understood all of you? Okay. Actually, what is the use of the segmentation? I hope you all understood what is the segmentation. Why we are dividing here is, example, one program is there. In the program, how many parts are there? 5 parts are there. 5 segments are there. Here I want to execute only one part. So just the CPU will take only one segment which the user want to execute. Understand? So what happened? Instead of loading all the programs into your CPU, here what we are doing is we are loading only that module, that segment which the user want to execute. Okay, understood? And here one more point is, whatever segments, whatever parts you have, it is not compulsory that all the parts should be of same size. In case of paging, all the parts are same size, but there is an internal fragmentation in a paging. Example, for each and every part you are giving 100 bytes of memory, but that program is consist of only the 60 bytes of memory. Then what happened? The 40 bytes of memory is wasting. If there is a fixed paging is there, because in a paging there are segments only, there are parts only, but each and every part is a fixed size. Okay, but come to the segmentation, we have a parts, but parts are not of the same size. Understood? So here we don't have an internal fragmentation. Why we don't have an internal fragmentation? Because modules are based on the size. Okay, based on the size, here we have a module. we don't have a fixed size, because here segmentation supports user view only. Okay, user view means, example, user in the program, if the user is having a 5 functions, for each and every function there is a segment. We are not giving a fixed size based on the user view, based on the user programming. Here we have a segments. So that is why segmentation is called as a user view of memory allocation. User view. Understood? So here we are not dividing parts of fixed size. We are dividing parts of variable size. Variable size means it is depends on the size of the module. If the that module is having only the 20 bytes, we'll give 20 bytes of memory. If the module is having a 40 bytes memory, means if it needs a 40 bytes of memory, then we'll give the 40 bytes of segment. That part will give that much only. Understood all of you? And one more condition is, here you have a 5 segments, and it is not compulsory that all these 5 segments should be contiguous, because our topic is non-contiguous. Okay, here it may be a segment 1, segment 3, segment 2, segment 1. You can shuffle. Okay, there is no condition that all the segments should be of same size and should be contiguous. Here the segments parts are variable size and they are non-contiguous. Clear all of you? What advantage is, according to your requirement, parts are divided, and each part is not of same size. Depends on the user's modules, there are segment and there is a size of the segment. Clear all of you? Now, here we are going into the next continuation of this. Actually, from where the CPU gets the information about this segments, size of the segment, and what is the base address, from where it can take the instructions. Here we have a topic called segment table. Segment table. Actually, what is a segment table is, in the segment table we'll store all the segments and the size of the segment. Okay, as I already said, this is a primary memory. So primary memory is divided into the parts, and example, this is a segment 1, segment 3, segment 2, segment 4 example. As I already said, it is not compulsory that all the segments should be contiguous. Okay, and the size is also not compulsory. As I already said, it is based on user's view. So example, here is starting from a 0, and here size is 20, and here the size is 80, and here the size is a example 200, and here it is a 400 example. Okay, but from where the CPU gets this information? So whatever segments are there, what is the name of the segment and what is the size of the segment, that information will get in a segment table. Okay, so it is a table which contains information of the segment. This is a segment table. What it is? It is a segment table. Table consists of 2 columns. First one is the limit and the second one is the base. Okay, so limiter, for example, base, what is the base address? Example 0. Next segment 3 base, segment 2 base address is 80, and segment 3 base address is example 20, and the segment 4 base address is example 200. Example 200, and here it is 80 like that. It's example 200, and here it is a 400 example. So what happened? Limiter, what is the limit of this? 20, and this limit is 60, and this limit is example 140. Next this limit is 200 example. Okay, so base is nothing but the base address of that segment. Okay, so what is the base address of the first segment and what is the base address of the second segment and what is the base address of the third segment. That information will store in a segment table. Understood? Base address is starting address. Next, the limit is what is the range, means how many bytes that the segment is there. It is a 20 bytes, it is a 60 bytes, it is a 120 bytes, and it is a 200 bytes. The size is nothing but the base address. Understood? So in the segment table, what you have in the segment table, we have two columns. First column is the limit. You can change it. First column you can give it as a base also, no problem. Base is nothing but the base address, the starting address of that segment. And next you come to the limit. Limit is nothing but the size of that segment. That information you will get in a segment table. Now come to a CPU. Means how translating your logical address into a physical address. Okay, logical address. Logical address, and the example is a physical address. Actually, where you get the physical address? In the primary memory. Okay, primary. And where you get the logical address? In the CPU. Example. Okay, so logical address, and the next one is a physical address. And the CPU generates the logical address. And whatever segments are there in the primary memory, that are identified with a physical address. So here the CPU needs a physical address of that segment to read information. Okay, CPU needs the physical address of that segment to read that content. And here the CPU generates logical address, already have explained. So logical address consists of two parts. One is a segment number and the second one is a segment offset. Okay. So, logical address consists of two parts. One is a segment number and the second one is a offset. What is a segment number? From which segment the CPU want to read the content. From which segment the CPU want to read the content, that is a segment number. And from that segment, how much it want to read, that is nothing but the offset. Okay, understand? So segment means from which segment it want to read, and from that segment what it want to read. So here the previous example only I will explain. Example is a segment 1, segment 2 and so on. Segment starting from a 0 and the size of this is an example for 20. And next 80, 200, 400. Example. Okay. Here CPU is there. Okay. And CPU generates logical address. CPU generates logical address which consists of two parts. One is a yes and the second one is a D. It's an offset. Okay. Next here we have a segment table. Segment table. Here what will give the base address and next limit will give. Example is already explained. Understood? For every segment number there is a corresponding entry in a segment table. Okay. Next here it want to read the segment 1 example. Segment 1, and from that segment 1 it want to read some only the 20% of the content. Clear? 20% of the content it want to read. So you can see here the base address is example 0, next to 20, 80, 200 like this. And limit is example 20, 40, 60, 80, 100 example. So what happened? Whatever segment is there. So actually it is a segment 1, segment 2, segment 3, segment 4. So it will search the segment. This is nothing but the segment. Now here actually what is the limit? Example 20. And whatever this offset is there, that is compared with the limit. So example here D is a 10. Means from that segment the CPU want to read only the 10 bytes of number. So what happened here? It will search. If this whatever D is there, that if it is less than the limit, then the content can be read from the memory. Otherwise, it will generate an error. Understood all of you? So whenever the CPU want to read the content, it will generate the logical address. Logical address consists of two parts. One is the segment number and the second one is the offset. What is the segment number? From which segment the CPU want to read the content. And from that segment, how much content it want to read, that is nothing but the D, offset. So whatever content the CPU want to read, that should be less than the limit. Example, the limit is at 20 bytes. If the CPU want to read the 21 bytes, it will generate an error. But if the CPU want to read only the 10 bytes from the 20, there is no error, CPU can read the content. Okay, so that is why whatever offset is generated by the CPU, it's always compared with the limit. If the offset is less than the limit, then the CPU can read the content from the main memory. If the offset, whatever the CPU is generated, that is greater than the limit, then it will generate an error. Understood? So this is the generation of translating your logical address into physical address. Now, what advantages you have in a segmentation? Okay, segmentation advantages. First one is, it is a variable size. Variable size means according to the user view only, the parts are divided. There are no fixed parts. First one, the parts are based on the user view only. So that is why there is no internal fragmentation. Internal fragmentation. And it is easy for the CPU to generate, to search segment table. It is easily, it can search segments in a segment table. And the next one is segment table over. Here variables means there is no fixed size, so that is why there is no internal fragmentation. Next, segment table. It is easy to locate to the segment table. Easily the CPU can search a segment in the segment table. Clear? Next, it will occupy, the segment table occupy less space compared to page table. Okay? And here the parts, whatever segments you have, that segments are no need of contiguous. And it will increase the performance, execution time of the CPU, because here depends on the user requirement only the parts are executed. Okay, so the throughput of the CPU will be increased. So these are the advantages. You know the advantages? Understood? Now we will come to the disadvantages. Disadvantages. What disadvantages? First one, if the parts are of fixed size, it is easy to divide the parts into a fixed size. So, but here it is difficult to divide parts into variable size, because size is changing every time, so it is difficult to divide the parts. And the second one is, again, segmented table is the overhead. You have it is occupying a less space, but it is a overhead only. And next, there is a chance of external fragmentation. Understood? So these are the disadvantages of segmentation. Okay, you go through these points. We will take overview of this subject. So this is about segmentation. Again we'll discuss about the key points. Here actually what is the segmentation? Whatever the user process is there at the time of execution, the total user process is divided into different parts, and each and every part is called as a segment. And where you have a segments in the main memory, in the primary memory, you have a segments. Okay, so when the CPU want to execute that segment, from where it will get the information, from where it will take that is not that will just not discussed. So whenever the CPU want to read any process or any segment, what it will do is it will generate logical address. Okay, because always CPU generates the logical address. So logical address consists of two parts. First one is a segment number, the second one is the offset. Segment number means from which segment it want to read the content, and the offset means what content it want to read. Okay, example, if you have 100 bytes of memory, from the 100 bytes of memory, how much you want to read? Only if you want to read only the 20 bytes of memory, that will come under offset. Understood? Now, so when it generates the offset, whatever offset value is there, that is compared with the limit of that segment. Okay, where you will get the limit of that segment? In the segment table. Segment table is nothing but it is a table which contains the complete information about your segments in the memory. The segment table consists of two columns. One is the base address of the segment, and the second one is the size of the segment. What is the size and what is the base address of that segment? So whatever the offset is generated by the CPU, that is compared with the size. If the offset is less than the size, then the CPU can read content from the main memory. But if that offset is greater than the size of the segment, then error will be generated. That's it. Only this is about your segmentation. Only the thing is, whatever user process is there, that is divided into parts, and whichever part the user want to read, only that will be executed, not all the parts at a time. Understood? Here you can say you can increase the throughput of the CPU. So this is about your segmentation. The next class will continue the paging. Thank you.